Thank you. So for those ones that are new over here, let me show you what we are building. So all of the movies that are done by codetap are present on both YouTube and Facebook. And if you go on youtube.com/codetap/playlists, let me quickly open a new window here. Codetap, no, youtube.com/codetap/playlists. You can find all the movies nicely organized in playlists. And the current one that we're working on is your resume online for free using HTML5 and CSS3. So if you click on it and follow all those movies step by step, you'll get to the point where we are today. So with that said, before we start coding, drop a comment. Let's get to know each other better. So drop a comment with the place that you're from. And I'll bring up the code, the Visual Studio Code editor, and also browser. And tonight we want to do this part over here where we create the recent clients and we implement some images into our project. So let's go and do this. I already prepared here a bunch of JPEGs and PNGs, so I'll select them and copy them. Okay, and I'll go back to our editor and into asset, into image, I'll create a new folder and call it client, and I'll reveal in Explorer, and inside this client I'll paste those images. Okay, now I'll open the command line in Visual Studio Code and I'll say npm start. Okay, I'll minimize this, we no longer need it for the moment. So this is now our local project, which doesn't have any recent clients section yet. So let's start doing that. Firstly, we'll open the component, and in here we create a new folder, client. Inside client, we'll create a new file, client.pug. Let me quickly open this on screen, keys, and new file, client.scss. Let's wire those two up into index.pug. So over here into index.pug, I'll click on this line, press Alt Shift down arrow to make a copy, double click the experience and say client. Save it, and in style CSS, I'll Alt Shift down arrow, double click the experience and say client 2. And now we've imported the pug and SSS files. We can close those ones. And in here, we want to start with the header. So like we have this experience here, and what can I do and so on, we want to create the header. So let's initialize the JavaScript block and say var header equals and recent clients. Okay. By the way, guys, for those ones that are new over here, at the end of this movie, there will be questions and answers. Just a second, I'll fix that. Thank you, Aladdin. So, okay. Come on, window. So now it should be fine. That that webcam should be on top of nothing. Bottom right. See, there's nothing behind the camera, so that should be cool. Okay, so now in here we want to create a client div. with the ID client and another one with the class client, and inside it we want to say another div client header, and the content of it should be header. So this header over here, it's this header over here. We've done it in all our previous lessons, so it's nothing special about it. And right now we can see that the content has appeared here. If we are to inspect it, let me get the window out. Yeah. So we can see that we have a div with the ID client, which is this one over here, then a div with the class client, which is this one over here, and a div with inside it with the class client header. Okay. So let's check our temporary folder to see if we have the images in. So we have all our images inside. So for the moment, let's do it the obvious way, and then I'll teach you how to do a sprite. So the obvious way would be to do inside here, let's say a client list, and inside it, let's say img, and the source for this img should be equal to, let's see, so it's asset image client, and let's say Argus PNG. So slash asset image client slash argus.png. Okay, so we can see this image that it appeared over here. We could do like this and do the next one, canvas direct PNG, but that's not the recommended way, definitely. So let's create a list here, var client list equals, and let's make this an array, and inside it let's move those strings. Okay, so the first one would be this. Let's put a comma and do about 6 of them. And right now we no longer need this one over here, so let's remove it. So we got chemist direct, and let's see, is there a scroll bar here? No, it's not. So okay, chemist direct content formula PNG. Okay, then we've got direct line group JPEG. And it's not in the JPEG, and then RMA consulting PNG, and then Zeus Media JPEG. So now we want to loop through this list, client list, and we'll say each client in client list, and the source would be client itself. Okay, so now let's see, we have an error. Let's indent this, and now we got all images inside. Okay, and we can see that the images are not nicely arranged, so let's do a client image and move the image inside this div, and then style this div because it's a bit easier. See, now everything looks nicer, and if we say client image text align center, all those images should be aligned centrally on the center. So let's also style this recent clients. Basically, let's go into the experience, which we've done earlier, and we have experience header. Let's just copy this for the moment and add it over here. Replace the experience with client, and voila, we got our section ready. However, let me show you what happens behind the scenes. So behind the scenes, if we are to inspect the network tab in our developer tools and refresh this page, we can see that a bunch of things are loading over here. And some of them are our images, so like Argus PNG, Chems Direct, and so on. However, those images are not that big. They kind of are more or less on about the same size, and they serve the same purpose. So in order to improve the loading of the page, we could combine all those images into one, so we wouldn't have to require so many times images from the server like we do right now. And this could be a lot more useful if we had even more images, but let me teach you this technique. So I've looked at those images and I've decided that in order to combine them, and let me bring up Photoshop, I've created those, let's say, rectangles of 200 pixels by 200 pixels wide and 150 pixels in height. So the colors are just for you to understand that they are like, those are the placeholders. And let me bring the layouts in here. Layouts, layers, okay, over here. So see, this is a group with the rectangles. If I hide it, we can see behind it all those images. So basically, if I move them down, you'll see in a second what I mean. Let me. Now, yeah, I think we got visitors. Okay, so you can see that more or less those images have been centered on top of the placeholders. So some of them occupy more space, like this Chems Direct occupies more space on top of the green one. Some other ones less space, like Argus and RMA and so on. But the point is to have the images centered in this 200 pixels by 150 pixels, and you'll see why in a moment. And what I do then is I hide this rectangle list, so the final images looks like this. Just a second, guys. Come on, Carol.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, nice to see you again. So Carol, let me see if you can see him. Let me move the camera a bit. Carol is one of my students, one of the successful ones. So yeah, welcome, Carol.
Well, thanks for having me.
So
what's happening today?
Let me quickly show you in a brief moment. We've created this recent client list, and we've looked at the network tab, and we've identified that we make one request for each of the images. So in order to improve this, it's like, you know, we have multiple CSS files and you want to have them into only one CSS file or as few as possible. The same goes for images if possible. And this is one scenario where we can do it. We will combine all those images into one bigger image.
Okay.
And then we'll see how we can make them appear on the screen back again. So right now, I was showing our students that I've placed those images on top of some placeholders, like 6 of them, and then I'm doing file export for web somewhere over here. I know the shortcut is Ctrl-Alt-Shift-S, so then this pops up, and basically you look at the JPEG size, it's 48.54 kilobytes. When we look at the PNG, it's 119. Well, JPEG wins. Okay, so JPEG high. Let's do high for the moment. So 48 kilobytes. We save it, and let's go to our project. Where is our project? Over here. This is our project, and we want to save it in here. Okay, and save it. So I've exported all those client images, client logos, into one big image, which is client JPEG. Okay, so let's see what we can do now. With this client JPEG, let's make sure that Pug has copied it. It looks like it did, but let's make sure that it copied it. So into TMP, we have the client image, which means it's available. That's nice. It's not pug, it's a gulp or pug starter. Anyway, so we've copied the image, we have it available. Now let's do it. So firstly, we want to have 6 rectangles over here, 6 containers, like 6 divs, spans, whatever works for you. So into client, we can get rid of this, and we can just say client image, and we have it 6 times. Let's confirm that. So in here, in client lists, we have client image 6 times. Okay. So let's style this client image. Client image. Let's say width 200 pixels, height 150 pixels, and for the moment let's add the border so it's easier for us to see. Border 0.1 rem solid red. Yay! So now you can see those rectangles being here. Let's also add a margin 0 auto. So 0 means top and bottom, and auto means left and right. Okay, so now they look centered. And let's do background image URL, and in here let's copy this path. Okay, and go back to CSS and paste it in and say client.jpg. Okay, so you can see that the image is in there. However, we can see only the first part of it. Okay, and let's make sure that we show the other ones too. So for the second one, we would do if we say ampersand, it means that in CSS this will be, it's like saying this content over here, whatever is on top of it. So ampersand nth child 2. Okay, and before I do anything, let me do it in the browser so you can see what happens. Let me leave it in the browser. Okay, so this is the client image. I don't want to change this, because if I change this class, it will change for all of them. So if I change the element style, then it will change it only for the current one selected, which is the second one. So right now we selected the second element, and we want to change its style. So let's say background position Y. We want to, because the image, the big image has all the images span on the vertical position, which is the position Y, and let's say 0 for the moment. And if we are to increase it, nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Background position, because it's 22 pixels. Yeah, now it happens. Okay, that's cool. So if we are to change it, see, as we increase it, the images are sliding up, right? So as we increase the images, the background position Y, the images start to show. Okay, so what we want to do is shift for the first image by 0, for the second image by minus 150 pixels, 150 pixels, then this image shows. If we do then 300, then the other image shows. So let's do that. So background position Y minus 150 pixels. So you can see that now we have this image over here. Let's do this a couple more times. We could do a 4, because SASS allows us. Whoever wants to do a 4 and generate this, that would be cool. For the moment, let's not complicate too much this. And 5, 400, 600. So now all but the last one should be done. And let's select also the last one, the sixth image. It's quite how to pronounce it in English. 750, and now everything looks right. If we are to comment this border, well, it looks almost the same as the first one. However, the images are even better if they are evenly spread out through the vertical position. And if we are to inspect this and go back to the network tab and refresh the page, we can see that only the client JPEG loads. Only one request to the server is made, which makes the page load faster. And about the page being loaded faster, let me show you what this project, the final one, which we are about to finish tomorrow or the day after tomorrow night. So this is one of the quickest web page projects that you can ever build. It's in top 1% quickest and fastest projects in the world. And if we are to go on Google page speed, and access the page speed insights tool and paste my resume bit.k URL in and analyze it, we can see that Google gives this project a perfect score. It's 100 of 100 perfect score on both mobile and desktop. So that's how fast this one is, and Google loves it. Okay guys, for the moment, this is our final project. We've just built this section tonight. We've learned how to use image sprites to improve the loading time of our project. And tomorrow night we'll do the navigation. We'll build it, we'll style it, and we'll make it possible for us to jump up and down in our project. And there will also be a quick bonus round. I'll say about it anyway. That was it for tonight, guys. Let's jump into the questions and answers section. So if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, no questions so far. Hey Carol, do you have any questions?
Well, I didn't follow through.
It's okay.
But anyway, as far as I remember, this is quite similar with the project that I've done on my. This was actually the first project that I've done following your course.
That's cool. So yeah, guys, jump in with the questions. Don't be shy. That's why we are here.
Where can you see the people watching?
So
How
on
many?
my phone,
Okay.
it's not about how many. I'm waiting for the questions. There are about 20 people watching live.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Do any of you have ever used image sprites so far? Are you using any libraries to automate this for you? For example, I know there is a Compass. Compass goes with SASS, as far as I remember, and Compass should provide a way to automate image spriting.
Well, it says here, is it really good practice?
Yes, Imran, that's a good question. It's definitely a good practice. All the big websites and all the professional developers use this as a good practice. For sure, if you're talking about, let's say, background images to save for your desktop, which are very, very big images, that would not be the case. This is the case for, let's say, smaller images, maybe something like icons or anyway, smaller images that can be used to either display your layout or to display some small graphics, maybe like pointers and so on. This is where image sprites comes in. I'm pretty sure many websites are already using this, and it's a good thing to spread the word out so everybody could know. this, if you look from, it's a saying like if you look from the plane, this is the same as minifying CSS and compiling into one file, or minifying JavaScript and compiling into one file. This is exactly the same thing, but done on the media side, like the images. You could do something similar for SVGs. Definitely, I don't know, and I don't recommend to do this for movies. So it's limited to the image SVG side. So I just I refresh your mind, Imran. Earlier, when we loaded all the images one by one, we had to make 6 requests. Okay, we had to make 6 requests to the server to get each image. At the moment, on the HTTP1 protocol, the more requests you make to the server, the higher time you have for your page to load. So if you have 6 images or even 20 images, when you have like 20 CSS files and 10 JavaScript files and some other, I don't know, files that you want to load, the more files you have, the more you increase the time. Sometimes for different projects you can get like 6 seconds increase the loading time until you can see anything. So you sit there for 6 seconds. I've encountered projects with 20 seconds. I've encountered projects with 1 minute of loading time until that you look at the web page, you see it loading, nothing happens. So it can go even into extreme situations, which is definitely not good. Nobody wants to sit in front of a PC and look how page is loading while they see nothing. So the shorter the time, the better. On top of that, also Google recommends this. So Google penalizes web pages that load very slow, and also bumps up the pages that loads very fast. It's an important factor in SEO and in Google ranking factor. So definitely you would want your clients to be happy, or yourself if you build your own website. Well, Imran, definitely some people don't favor that much CSS. I'll be starting soon doing some JavaScript in January, hopefully. So in January 2018, I'll be doing some JavaScript too. However, it's not about CSS or JavaScript, which one is awesome. It's about what you can do to improve the overall and the end product that you're delivering. So if some CSS techniques would help me out win against other competitors, I would definitely use it. I don't favor CSS against JavaScript or JavaScript against CSS or any other language. I just prefer to be agnostic and use the best tool available to deliver my product. Any other questions? Very good question so far, Imran. Thank you very much for your input and for your questions. I'll be giving it another minute, guys, and if there are no more questions, I'll be wrapping this up, and I'll also meet you tomorrow night, more or less at the same time, for our next lesson. Don't forget to like and share this video. Search for codetap on both Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe to it. You're welcome, Imran. I hope I spelled your name correctly, Imran. You're welcome, mate. I hope you like my shirt. My wife gave it to me, so it's like a Christmas shirt. I plan to come live every day, unless something bad really happens. I plan to come on live every day for at least 1 or 2 years, starting now. That's the plan. And I'll see if the plan is to make some changes, and if possible, I'll come to live twice a day. We'll see about it. It's a big stretch, but I like to push things. I like to do the impossible possible. So yeah, at least once a day. That's my aim, and I push as much as I can to make it possible. And if I can do 2 lives, that would mean more and more content for you guys. So you'll be happier. Usually it's 8 or 10 o'clock, it depends on the day. So it's either 8 or 10 o'clock London time. If I have meetings that delay me, that when it's 10 o'clock, if not, it's 8 o'clock. I'll try to figure out what's best and stick to 1 hour. However, I just started this one about a week ago. This is my 8th live, and I'm still trying to figure out what I can stick to it. Because if I promise it will be 8 and then I can't make it, last night I wanted to be 8 and I had it to delay it to 10 o'clock. Then, yeah. Smiley. Okay guys, I'll wrap this up. You've been amazing. Thank you for watching this. There will be more great content coming up. And as always, happy coding and create something awesome.